Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is D, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Six of Arrows in transition, and we are setting sail again to the other side of the Wildwood Forest as we cross this vast river or vast lake. And it's at that time of day where the full moon is out. And we've got that full moon of Aries right now, so a lot of change is happening, a lot of transitions happening. And, the one thing I like about this card, actually there's multiple things I like about this card, but the one that stands out is that, we're always transitioning into another period, okay? Setting sail in the Swan boat, and steering that tiller with, with a full sail behind us just tells me that there's a lot of forward momentum as we're moving forward across the other side. All right, but the Queen of Arrows, the Swan, doesn't like to stay in one place. Okay, she likes to travel from different ponds, different swamps, different rivers along the way, in her life. So we also have to take on that aspect of that Queen of Arrows Swan in just the aspect of nothing ever stays the same. There's always change at hand, and it's how we adapt to that change mentally, all right, that lets us move forward in our thought processes and in our creativity, okay? Now, this comes after yesterday's card of Two of Arrows and Injustice, and, we talked about, making sure that things are even, all right? So, over the last 6-7 days, and, as I look back at this, at the spread, this Six of Arrows, this transition came up 7 or 8 days ago. It just fell off, okay? So this just tells me that over these last 7 or 8 days, we've had an opportunity to develop our intellectual thinking, our reasoning, our logic of what's going on. We had the Ace of Arrows, the breath of life, just dropped off. Okay, so we have that new concept of a new opportunity, okay? A new beginning in how we think about things. We've got the Ten of Arrows still down here for the instruction, which is completion of that thought process, right? You've taken a thought process from the Ace of Arrows and brought it to completion during this transitional period of the Six of Arrows. And some jealousy occurred with the Three of Arrows, and then we have the Injustice card of making sure that things aren't skewed, in the wrong fashion. So there's a little bit of that jealousy action, that envious, that's still going on down there. But it's not touching you, okay? And you're not jealous of others. You are really more aware of it intellectually and mentally than anything else, okay? And as you go forward, the Knight of Bows is still down here, and he's asking you, where is that opportunity in the situation? Well, that opportunity in the situation over the last week was to, get that mental fortitude going, right? Get that mental strength and saying, okay, as I start going into the fall season and temperatures start to cool down, I need to stay mentally active, all right? I don't want to get into those doldrums of, gray days and, down spirits. I need to stay active. I need to stay alive. And a lot of times, school's already started for a lot of people, so everybody's lives are active, but the sun's setting earlier, all right? And that tiredness is going to start coming over you, and you're going to start feeling weary. But if you can go ahead and do some mental preparation along that line, that 15 minutes of meditation to help you out, all right, that's going to strengthen your mental fortitude, as we move forward. And then that Queen of Bows, the Hare, is asking, how do you influence those around you? All right, by staying dedicated to that daily ritual meditation, all right, and taking that 15 minutes of downtime, you can influence the rest of the family to say, you know what, we need to give so-and-so their 15 minutes because they're going to be stronger, they're going to be wiser, they're going to have more knowledge, and they're going to be more refreshed coming out of that break that they're in. And, other people realize that about you and about your situation. And they take that into account, on how the day goes. So, as we transition back to the other side with that full sail behind us during this Aries moon, and Aries is all about action, all right, and starting projects and things on that nature. Keep that mental fortitude strong. Keep that intellectual ability strong. And look at the concepts and the passion that you still have. Because you can't have arrow action without bow action. And even though there's no bows here, I still see, 3 bows down here in the cards with a set 10 of arrows, the 2 of arrows, and the Queen of bows, as well as the Knight of bows. So that's 4, right? So there's still a lot of fire action going on, a lot of creativity, all right? And a lot of that you can't have that passion moving forward if you don't have the intellectual logic, reasoning, even communication, right? So, this last 7 days is about communicating well. It's about intellectual reasoning. It's strengthening what you have while you're transitioning to the other side. And once we transition to the other side, we'll start talking about, it could be a possibility of this getting better, right? Putting those actions into, or putting those thoughts into actions, all right? And creating those plans for those thought processes to make your life easier, to help you on your spiritual path, right? To open you up for understanding within, the spirit realm and within the universe as it is. So that's today's card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck, the 6 of Arrows and Injustice, 6 of Arrows and Transition. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, and give me a thumbs up. And this is D for a Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Stay safe, everybody.